and privilege of teaching sociology to the outstanding students of Utah State University. Thank you so much for inviting me to share this special day with you. Before I begin, I would like to take time to acknowledge that we come together today in unity and love on lands that originally belonged to the Shoshone Nation. May our words and actions today honor that history. Speaking of history, I don't know about you, but I grew up hating history. Honestly, it was kind of difficult for me to get excited about stories where I never saw people that looked like me represented or celebrated. And unfortunately, women's history and the women's movement has had kind of the same challenge, but not today. Today, in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King's vision of a beloved community, I'm about to expand your beloved community to include women, womenists, mujeristas, hermanas, and your sisters from other misters. To help you find inspiration, I created this poster of women that you may or may not know. My amazing partner in life, Greg, who's back there, and our amazing son, and our adopted son, Ty, his best friend, are helping me to pass them out. The poster has 20 women who transformed history. I wish I could make a poster with more. Maybe I can make one for every march in the future. In the meantime, for these 20 women, add them to the beloved community in your minds and hearts. Google them, study them, research them. To the young children and students in the crowd, the next time your teacher or professor asks you to research somebody famous or influential, pick from this list to educate yourself, your classmates, and I guarantee your teachers too. You'll learn about women like Dolores Huerta, co-founder of the United Farm Workers, and a woman who's often overshadowed by Cesar Chavez. She was the fire and the heart behind the movement and urged this country to, quote, teach kids at the kindergarten level what the contributions of people of color were to building the United States of America. These women helped to build, shape, and form America. Shirley Chisholm, the first black woman to run for president, said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. We need to make space for one another and ask who is missing at the table. Understand that we need to move beyond a you or me to a united you and me, to an ever transformed you are me. Look around, everyone, and tell each other, you are me. Fannie Lou Hamer, and voter and women's rights activists who organized the Mississippi Freedom Summer and the Freedom Democratic Party of 1964, reminds us all that nobody is free until everybody is free. Anna Mae Pictou Aquash, leader of the American Indian movement, said, this whole country changed with only a handful of raggedy pilgrims that came over here in the 1500s, and it can take a handful of raggedy Indians to do the same, and I intend to be one of those raggedy Indians. Allow yourself to be raggedy too. But even if you're not into raggedy, remember what Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor told people, don't mistake my politeness for lack of strength. Be strong in whatever way represents strength to you. Organize a march, conduct a protest, write a letter, write a poem, create art, speak up, sing, or as Gloria Anzaldúa, writer, feminist, Chicana lesbian, encouraged us to do, dance in the face of our fears. And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Marsha P. Johnson, a trans woman who's been credited with starting the Stonewall riots that inspired the modern LGBTQ plus civil rights movement, and Sylvia Ray Rivera, her fellow Latina trans activist, started a group called STAR, which stood for Street Transvestite Activist Revolutionaries. And their revolutionary goal of STAR was to keep other transgender people off the street, keep them safe, and get them fed. So when you're scared or told just to be patient for change, Remember the words of Angela Davis, political activist, academic, and author, who declared, "I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept." And the times when it feels most difficult to stand up for what is right, be inspired by the words of Grace Lee Boggs, Chinese-American writer and activist, who explains that a revolution that is based on the people exercising their creativity in the midst of devastation is one of the greatest historical contributions of mankind. You may ask, where do I begin? Especially those of you who are young and just starting this journey. This march might be your first form of activism, or you were inspired by someone who's traveled this road for years. Know that your presence is inspiring. Yuri Koshiyama, Japanese-American incarceration camp survivor, activist and organizer in the 70s, tells students, transform yourself first. Because you are young and have dreams and want to do something meaningful that in itself makes you our future and our hope. Keep expanding your horizon, decolonize your mind, and cross borders. And finally, Sojourner Truth, who at the 1851 Women's Rights Convention asked the question, "Ain't I a woman?" also said, if the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the whole world upside down, all alone, these women, us women, we women, nosotros, all of us ought to be able to turn it back. We are often told that we stand on the shoulders of giants, and that may be true. But I'd rather believe that we stand with the giants, within the giants, between the giants, among the giants. We are the giants and they are us. They are our beloved community, and we carry these giants in our hearts, in our bodies, and in our souls. And never forget that history or herstory is really about whose story gets told. The more you expand your beloved community, the richer your story. Thank you, my people, mi gente, for allowing me to share my heart, mi corazón, with you this day.